Hello everyone! Welcome back again with this channel. At this time, I will explain about aggregate demand curve. And in this material, we're gonna learn about related aggregate demand curve, how to create or construct a curve, the effect of the aggregate demand curve, and also an example of the aggregate demand curve. Let's move on into the material. First, the definition of aggregate demand. What is the aggregate demand curve? The aggregate demand curve is a graph that shows the inverse relationship between aggregate demand and the price level. Aggregate demand represents the sum of demand from four macroeconomic sectors. There is households, business, government, and the external sectors. The next is how to form aggregate demand. To form aggregate demand from Keynesian cross, we can get the IS curve. Then, from the theory of liquidity preference, we get the LM curve. From the demand and the supply of money, we can get the LM curve from ISLM. We can get the ISLM model, and this ISLM we can form an aggregate demand curve. On to the next, we start from the equilibrium of IS and LM. IS describes the equilibrium in the market for goods and services, and LM describes the balance or the equilibrium in the money market. The intersection between IS and LM forms a balance or equilibrium either at the interest rate or the output or income if here R1 and Y1. When P changes because our assumption has been that P is constant. When the P changes, the LM curve will change because the M per P will change because the supply of real money will change, resulting in a new Y balance. From here we will obtain between P and Y. This is the aggregate demand or AD curve. This is also like a demand curve that shows the relationship between price and quantity. Because this is an aggregate, it shows the relationship between price and Y, or output, as a whole GDP, or national income. On to the next, we have how to form AD curve. So, as shown on the screen, this is the form of the ISLM equilibrium, and the one in this screen we will use to form or draw the AD curve. For IS and LM balance, when the P is P1 and the balance is the intersection between IS, LM, if drawn this, then the R is at R1 and the Y is at Y1. Then on the AD curve, we get points P1 and Y1. When the price, for example, rises to P2, the real money supply or M per P, when P goes up, will be smaller. This is the effects or the impact on the LM curve is the same as the M is lowered. So, LM will shift to the left. When LM shifts to the left, where the P2, then the balance form is at R2 and Y2, so that we get points P2 and Y2. When the 2 points in the graph or coordinates of AD curve are connected, we will get the aggregate demand curve. So, the institution of this graph, if the P goes up, the real money or M per P will go down. Means when LM to the left, can cause interest rates to rise. Interest rates rise means investment will fall. Falling investment causes Y to fall. The relationship is negative. The slope is negative, as shown in the AD curve. So guys, this is the AD curve. And next, we have the effect of the price level on the four main sectors. Sectors number 1 is household. The effect of the price level in the household consumption. The price level affects household wealth. Their real wealth increases when the price level falls. It adds to their purchasing power. This increase in purchasing power encourages households to increase their consumption. Therefore, a decrease in the price level will increase household consumption. The opposite effects also applies. A higher price level reduces household consumption. The real income of household fell and their purchasing power weakened. We call this effect of changes in the price level on household consumption through real wealth as the wealth effect. On to the next effect of the price level on the four main sectors. The second sector is the effect of the price level on business investment. A lower price level reduces the demand for money. To buy the same quantity of goods than before, economic actors need less money. In financial markets, a decrease in the demand for money will drive the price of money down. And in economics, the price of money and the interest rate, so a lower price level will lower interest rates. Lower interest rates lower the cost of capital investment, encouraging business to increase their investment. Not only that, lower interest rates also encourage households to apply for new loans. For some items, such as houses and cars, households buy not in cash, but are financed through loans. Therefore, when interest rates are low, households will also tend to increase spending on some goods. The opposite effect also applies when the price level rises. That pushes interest rates up and weakens business investment and household consumption. Sectors number 3 of the effect of price level is government spending. The effect of the price level on government spending. There is no correlation between the price and the government spending. Government spending is a discretionary policy and is more determined by the political process. Therefore, we classify government spending as autonomous spending, the value of which is independent of economic condition. The effect of price level is net exports. The effect of price level on net exports. Net exports are difference between the value of exports and the value of imports. A decrease in the price level indicates that domestic goods are becoming cheaper. That attracts foreign buyers and encourages them to increase demand. As a result, export increase. On to the next, we have aggregate demand example. In this case, suppose during a year, in the country United States, personal consumption expenditures was $15 trillion, private investment and the corporate spending on the non-final capital goods was $4 trillion, government consumption expenditure was $3 trillion, the value of export was $2 trillion, and the value of imports was $1 trillion. Then calculate the aggregate demand of the US. On to the next solution, where the C equals to 15 trillion, I equals to $4 trillion, G is equal to $3 trillion, and sub X or net imports equals to $1 trillion. We have the 1 trillion because the $2 trillion minus $1 trillion is $1 trillion. We use Excel to solve this case. So, why the table gonna be like this? In this case, the first we will gonna do is to form a table, then enter the formula. The formula on Excel is equals B2 plus B3 plus B4 plus B7. The formula is equal to aggregate demand curve. The aggregate demand curve formula is AD equals to C plus I plus G plus N sub X. After enter the formula on the table or on the column on the Excel, the formula is also used to find aggregate demand from a country or existing business. After that, we enter existing detail or particulars to get the results of aggregate demand. Now we get the solution. Equals to C plus I plus G plus N sub X equals to $15 plus 4 trillion equals to $15 trillion plus $4 trillion plus $3 trillion plus $1 trillion equals to $23 trillion. Thus, the AD of the US during the period is $23 trillion. On to the next, we have benefits of aggregate demand. First benefits of aggregate demand is an increase in consumers' wealth or higher house prices or value of shares. Second is lower interest rates, which makes borrowing cheaper. Therefore, people spend more on credit cards. Third is higher wages. Fourth is lower taxes. Fifth, we have increased consumer confidence about the future. So there is the benefits of aggregate demand. Okay guys, that's all from the discussion about aggregate demand. From all the discussion that have been explained earlier, I hope it can help you in completing tasks and also be useful for your life. If you have any question regarding this discussion or have other comments, please comment in the comments column below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to get various videos in the form of learning materials that can help you. Thank you for your attention. See you guys.